It's a Guy Jeans podcast.
Hey, you guys, how's it going?
Doing fine, Guy. Hope you are.
I'm doing good. How you doing, Chris?
Doing really well, thank you.
Well, tell me about what you guys do. I'm excited to hear about everything that you guys do, your TV show. One of you guys plays the bagpipes, which is awesome, and I want to hear about that. But first and foremost, tell me a little bit about yourselves. We'll start with Sam.
Starting with me or Chris? I'm sorry.
Sam. I said Sam. Go for it, Sam.
Well, I live in North Georgia. I'm a fly fisherman and also do a little work on the side with a transaction advisory group up in Baltimore. And Chris and I have been friends for, probably 10 or 12 years, been fishing for most of that time.
Yeah.
And several years ago, we decided to put a little business together called Wild Bearings, and to market everything from fishing flies to bamboo fly rods. And then last year we were contacted by a network in Nashville about doing a pilot series of a TV show about fly fishing, kind of exotic places.
Awesome.
And we kind of worked that out and did a pilot series of 6 episodes and finished that. We're in season 2 now. Different network, but the absolute same show.
Awesome. Chris, what about you?
Yeah, I'm not as exciting as Sam is, but I grew up in Texas. I'm a Texan, and bass fishing and all of that, and ended up in North Georgia about 22 years ago, and we love it here. Got into the fly fishing, met Sam, got into the fly fishing, something I always wanted to do, and so we got into pretty deep into fly tying and everything about fly fishing, and so it's been a lot of fun to work with Sam and get this Wild Bearings thing kind of going. Sam taught me. For a lot of people that don't know, Sam is a major player in the bamboo rod making industry.
Nice.
And so learned from Sam how to build bamboo rods, and so we just kind of hang out and do our thing, man. We enjoy fishing together and all the glory that God has given us to experience. You
guys look like you're having a blast on that show. My gosh, you guys are fishing all over the place. So,
guy, things just kind of seek us out for some reason. It seems like every time we turn around, someone's calling saying, "Hey, can you do this or do that?"
Yeah.
So we just kind of just have a good time. And
you wrote a book too, right, Sam?
I did. Actually, the second book is being published now by Mountain Arbor Press. The first one was called Fly Fishing the Blue Ridge Parkway, North Carolina section. About the 252 miles in North Carolina, 308 pages, color. And the second book, Fly Fishing the Blue Ridge Parkway in Virginia, is being published now and is actually going in distribution in the next few weeks. And it's the same thing, about 310 pages, full color. Gives away all the secret locations that I get in trouble for from a lot of the locals in these watersheds.
And you guys are fishing a lot in that zone, right? Like some of your shows, you guys are in North Carolina fishing the Davidson with Davidson Outfitters, and you're fishing a lot in that mountain range. Or are you guys going all over the place?
We do some of both. We obviously a lot through the southeast.
Yeah.
But really up the Appalachian chain, up into Tennessee and Virginia.
Yeah.
North Carolina, we spend a lot of time there.
And that's mostly native brook trout in that zone.
There are wild brook trout there, and of course they were the original trout, that were in these mountains. But higher elevations is where you'll find them, and then the browns and rainbows in the lower elevations.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, let's go back to your TV show. We'll get back into that the book stuff in a minute, but I want to go back to your guys' show. Do you guys have a crew that follows you around when you guys are filming, or is there a couple cameramen? How does that all work?
Well, we do have, and Chris chime in here, but yeah, we do have a crew, but we're a small crew. When we travel, there's no more than 5 of us when we hit a location. And that's one thing that's made this series as successful as it is with the locations, is that we don't go in and dominate a location. They hardly know we're there.
Nice.
So Chris, you could probably add something to that.
Well, no, I mean, we leave a small footprint. We don't, we believe in, we're cold restoration stream guys, right? So we like to make sure that the places that we go, that we're sensitive to the area and respect the area and obviously the locals. And so, it's a small crew.
Who's doing like the writing and like setting everything up, like shots and all that kind of stuff? Because you guys got to have to kind of have like a script or something to follow, right?
We do a run of show for every program that starts literally with the opening scene. What is we don't storyboard anything. It's a grid outline form. Yeah, and it covers the scene. It covers if there is any scripting, which is very little scripting. It'll reference scripting, and what sequence it is. And then our director basically takes that and drives the day of shooting.
And are you doing a little improvisation there, Sam? It looks like it. You're just kind of like going with it, with the moment when you're on camera.
Well, you know how this goes. There's a lot of rocking and rolling when you do this, and right. and what we found is that people like that a whole lot more than when you have a perfectly scripted dialogue. Yeah. I mean, they want to hear what you're really thinking.
Sure.
They want to hear you slip up and say something wrong every now and then, and not apologize for it, or show disappointment, or But we do a lot of ad-libbing.
The reality guy is Sam doesn't have a choice with me around because I'm not that smart, and so if I got to follow too many rules, then we get in trouble. So I'm not good at staying on script.
Our director is an ex-major network guy, and we drive him crazy sometimes. He doesn't get a lot of sleep for the week or two around the shoot.
Are you guys traveling to like exotic places as well and shooting?
Well,
we're going to North Carolina.
That's pretty exotic. Yeah.
We went to West Virginia a couple of years ago.
That's pretty exotic. Well, we on the back end of this season, we do travel. We're going to be going out west. If we get that far, everywhere from Rocky Mountain National Park, which will also shoot the Colorado River headwaters out there. But the boundary waters up, running the line between the U.S. and the Canadian border, the Greenbrier, Sea of Cortez. Yeah, we're targeting all of those. Just finished the Biltmore shoot a few months ago. And that was, talk about an exotic place, Guy. That's at the top of the list on my book. That 8,000 acres in western North Carolina is just an amazing piece of real estate with so much history to talk about and to show. But then really great waters, and it's not all trout water. It's bass water. Yeah, bass and brim, shellcracker, all of that. Yeah, there's no trout there except in the French Broad River that runs through it, and you get some muskie out there. I mean, so it's a little bit of everything.
Are you guys, or have you already shot the Boundary Water one?
No, we've got it on our target list that we would hopefully be able to do it this year. Nice. I have fished the Boundary Water several times.
Have you?
And best smallmouth bass fishing I've ever had.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list. I want to do that one day. And I heard it's amazing.
It's a very exotic place to fish, going between the bodies of water with that overland rail system that they have that loads the boat up and takes it up over on a rail system. It's a pretty cool place.
We're using your bamboo rods when you're fishing for those smallmouth?
Absolutely, I was.
Awesome.
I was fishing an 8.5 foot 5 weight, and it handled everything
Did it
except
really?
one big muskie I got into up there that I had a little bit of trouble with, but all of the smallmouths, it handled them well.
We're using topwater stuff.
Top and underwater. We use some of both. You know, they love top water at, like a small minnow and streamers. Yeah. And at night or late afternoon, they like the mouse patterns coming off the banks. And that works really well.
That sounds so fun. Hey, so why bamboo? What's your thing with bamboo? Do I have an hour for that?
Well, Chris, why don't you lead off with bamboo?
Yeah.
You're a bamboo fisherman.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it for us, it's just kind of cool.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, you think back. I mean, we're kind of old school guys.
Yeah.
And you think back to the early 1900s, and for us, it really just kind of connects us to the whole outdoors. I mean, you're fishing with a piece of grass that came from a specific region of the world. Traveled 10,000 miles to get to us here in Georgia.
Yeah.
And then, we put a lot of sweat equity into building a rod. You take a bamboo culm and you break it down into a functional piece of art.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot to be said for that. But quite honestly, for us, and when you think about fishing with bamboo, I mean, there's some strategic things going on there for us. I mean, it's a little easier on your tippet. Doesn't necessarily break a fish off because it's got some flex. And Sam, you got 100-year-old rod that you restored? You don't see many fiberglass or graphite rods that have made it 100 years that you can still go fish today. So the durability is just unparalleled.
Yeah. It takes a while to build them, right?
It does anywhere from 40 to 60 hours typically, Guy.
Yeah.
And it's all, the bamboo that we use and the tapers we use are the same for every rod we make. The only difference is how you're finishing them out, the type of routes, the hardware you use or make, and that's really the difference in the pricing. Is just the amount of time that's in it.
Yeah.
But the reason, hey, Guy, the reason Chris really likes bamboo, and he's not going to tell you this, but the real reason is because if there's 4, 5, 6 guys fishing, at the end of the day, when they gather up in the river and they're standing around talking, smoking a cigar, drinking a beer, they're looking at his rods. They're not looking at everyone that's fishing graphite.
Right.
They want to look and talk about that bamboo rod.
Absolutely.
And so that's what he really likes about it.
So,
absolutely.
I have a friend out here in California that makes bamboo rods, Renaissance fly rods, they're called. And he did kind of like a presentation on bamboo fly rods for our fly club out here. And I had no idea that it's like, is it like 4 or 5 pieces that you guys put together, like to form like I don't want to say hexagon type shape, but whatever you guys, the shape, is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Each piece traditionally is made up of 6 bamboo strips that have been planed into a 60-degree angle. And of course, when you put six together, you've got a hexagon.
Yes.
A full circle. And that's where the strength comes from, Guy. It comes from the lamination process. Because the only part of that bamboo you're using is the power fiber on the outside of the culm.
Okay.
And it's extreme. It's absolutely has the same tensile strength as aramid fiber has.
Okay.
And so when you glue those things together, they're just about like a little steel rod.
Okay. Yeah, he made me one and gave me one, and what a work of art, man! Oh my gosh, so amazing.
Yeah,
and fun to fish too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're pretty sexy. They make there's always this argument among graphite and glass fishermen and bamboo fishermen about which one is best. And what we've learned is that, look, it's like religion and politics. You're gonna kick someone off whatever direction you go. But for us, we like it.
Yeah.
And it just makes us feel good when you're on the stream. And when I feel good, I feel like I fish better. And so it's
nice.
They're just fun to fish with.
So a rod that you guys make, what does something like that go for now?
Anywhere from about $1,900 up to about $3,200.
Yeah. Yeah, because all the time and effort and energy it takes to build the thing. I get it. What about...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just all about time. The material is about the same. You can take a $3,000 or $4,000 bamboo fly rod and a $1,000 bamboo fly rod that we would make, and the material cost is going to be somewhere in $100 range. The rest of it is just labor.
Yeah. I can't tell you guys how many times people come into my fly shop and they'll say, "Hey, I just found this rod in a garage sale or yard sale or something," and they'll come in and do you know how much this is worth? And of course, I have no idea, but I from my understanding, some of those rods are worth a lot of money. I mean, you could get into a pretty nice rod that was made way back when, right?
Well, you really can. You can get into some of the F.E. Thomases or Thomas and Thomas and some of the older rods, and those can be, $4,000 to $6,000, $7,000 rods very easily.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
And why is that? It's just because of nostalgia and old and
because of the reputation of the maker.
Okay.
Age has a lot to do with it, but the quality of the taper and the reputation that the rod has, as well as how many of those rods were actually made. And as a rule, as you get shorter in rods, the price goes up because actually there were not as very few short rods in the 6.5 foot range. Most of them were started at 7, went up to 9 or 10 feet. And so the market's got a lot of those in the aftermarket where the shorter rods are not out there.
Okay. All right, let's talk about your writing a book. And how does that go down? How do you just start like in the winter or something and just start getting information and just start going for it? How does your writing process?
Too much free time and alcohol, I think, is what probably caused that. That's a good question, Guy. I get asked that question a lot, and it really comes down to I've been fishing up and down the Blue Ridge Parkway the majority of my adult life. And adult, I mean starting teenage years. Yeah. And it just started curating a massive amount of information in my brain and in my notes and in my records. And sitting around the campfire, some of my friends suggested that, you need to write all this stuff down. Yeah. And this went on for a couple of years. And then finally, I kind of got talked into doing it. Okay. And so I wrote the first book. And I got my friend Mark Woods, who's a superintendent of the Blue Ridge Parkway, retired now, to actually write my foreword. And so that helped too, having someone like him to forward it, because it really got a lot of attention. Okay. And then we launched the book at the beginning of COVID. Okay. So you've got all these fly fishermen that are being held prisoner of war in their house, right? And can't get out that much, and so they start ordering books. And so we just started reprinting this book every 3 to 4 weeks. Oh. And so that was the first 252 miles. It went really well. Trout Unlimited chapters inviting us to speak and everything. Doing podcasts or webcasts like you're doing here, got the word out. Yep. And then, you kind of got to finish the job, and I had to do the 217 miles in Virginia. And so that's what I've been working on for about the last year and a half, and finished it. And it's actually at the publisher now.
What's your favorite stream out of all those, out of the whole mountain range there? What's your favorite one that you just was like, oh my gosh, I love this place?
Well, Chris has got different ones, but I have to answer this in two directions. The most sentimental stream to me would be a stream up in Pisgah National Forest called Looking Glass Creek. And it's the first major tributary going into the Davidson River, and it has a huge waterfall on it. And that's where I caught my first trout, and that was the first waterfall that I ever saw in my life.
Nice.
And so that one is really sentimentally very, very dear to me. But the most beautiful stream, in my opinion, on the Blue Ridge Parkway, or right off the Parkway, is in Virginia, and it's a little creek called Piney Creek. And I was just up there about maybe 3 weeks ago taking some images for this book. And Piney Creek in Virginia, to me, is the most beautiful stream east of the Rocky Mountains.
Really?
And so that's my favorite one to get on and fish.
What about you, Chris?
You know, we for me, I love Yellow Creek. It is, we call it Graveyard Fields, and it's all native brook trout. And it's just got a really beautiful scene. You look down over the mountain and the mountainside, and you know, down in the distance, far away, you can see the stream meandering around. It's just a special place. It has a really western kind of stream feel to it.
Yeah.
But it has probably some of the prettiest brook trout that you'll ever see. I mean, during certain times of the year, the balsam trees, the water almost looks like a patina, like a tea stained, and the trout are just as bright and vibrant. Their mouths will be black from that water and entomology there. And so that's probably one of my favorite places to go fish. It's a lot of fun.
Sounds nice. Are you guys doing any shows out in the West at all, besides like even further, like in the Sierra Mountains?
Well, the only thing we've got on our schedule right now would be this fall would be Rocky Mountain National Park.
Okay.
And we would do Boulder Creek and Glacier Creek and all of those creeks close to Estes Park, and then fish down through the middle of Estes Park on the Big Thompson.
Oh, nice.
You know, ultimately, I want to get Chris out to Lake Tahoe and to fish the Truckee River coming out of Lake Tahoe up to the little town of Truckee and then down through Reno.
Nice.
And that I'm sure that's going to be one of our episodes out west at some point, Guy.
Yeah.
I just don't know when yet.
Awesome. You know, here's a suggestion for you guys, you know, sometime is golden trout. You know, that's what we have here. And it sounds like it's be right up your guys' alley. You know, bamboo rod, 3-weight, 2-weight, 3-weight bamboo rods.
Yes.
Dry fly, small stream type stuff. That would be right up your guys' alley, man.
Well, I think we need to get it on the calendar and come meet you out there and fish together.
Absolutely. For sure.
Yes.
All right. So who plays the bagpipes? That's awesome.
Well, as my wife says, that's just another one of my many bad habits that I have.
How'd you get into that?
And I do play the bagpipes. Been playing since 1998. Is when I started, and I've been in 3 pipe bands over those years. And the pipe band I'm in now is an Atlanta-based band called John Mohr Mackintosh Pipes and Drums. And it's a competition band. We do a lot of parades and events. In fact, this weekend we'll be at the Renaissance Festival in Atlanta, playing in that. But it's just a fun instrument. It's different, as you well know, Guy. You know, and I've just had a huge amount of fun with it. And occasionally I'll take it on a trip with us and get outside of the camp or house we're renting and play a few tunes. But
hey,
it's fun.
Is the bagpipe like in a certain key, or we're playing these notes. Is that how you guys go about doing it?
Yeah, it's an ionic scale. It's not a concert scale of A, a 440A. It's actually, in a concert scale, it would be keyed in B flat.
Okay.
Our low A is actually a B flat, and that's what we tune to as a band. Everyone tunes to that B flat.
Okay.
Of type major, and they stick a meter on it. And the problem with bagpipes is that you have 4 reeds in it. You got one reed in your center where you play the medley, and then your 3 drones that go up by your shoulder, they have reeds too, and those have to be tuned. So bagpipes are always being tuned about every 2 or 3 times you play a tune.
Okay. I wanted to tell you about this. So, like, I've been in certain, funerals or whatever it is. Like, not even funerals, but like different events. And the pipes will be playing and everything, and I'll look over at, grown men with tears going down their eyes. And I'm like, and you can feel, I don't know, it's the pipes, the sound or whatever. It has like this emotional kind of thing that comes out in you, and it makes everyone kind of get emotional. What's that about?
Well, I think it just goes back to the history. These things date back many, many hundreds of years, back into the dark ages. And when you think about it, bagpipes, they have piped kings to the throne and queens to the grave. Yeah. And they have a wide range of emotions. Yeah. Of everything from happiness for weddings, to funerals, to major events. Yeah. And you're right. I play a funeral, and I'm looking. I played Amazing Grace so many times it has no effect on me anymore. I mean, I just play it. I'm sick and tired of playing it. Mm-hmm. But when I look around, I do realize how much it means to people when you see tears.
Oh my gosh!
Pouring out of their eyes, when you're playing this tune. And I feel a little bit ashamed that I'm so jaded to it now. And really the only time it affects me is when I do a full honors funeral for like a military guy coming back from Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. And I'm at the National Cemetery in Georgia playing. And those ceremonies, I have a hard time not tearing up when I play.
Yeah, there's just something about those pitches of the pipes or something that just gets us humans for whatever reason it is. I don't know what it is.
Well, I'll go out in my backyard, guy, and I'll be practicing, and I'll hear someone from the other side of the neighborhood, and they'll scream out, "Play it again!" I'll play it again, and then I'll hear someone else scream from the other side of the neighborhood, "Shut the hell
up!" Good stuff. Oh my
so you're
God.
Right. It brings up a lot of emotions for people.
I just know this guy. Every time I'm with him, the cows love it. He starts going out into a field and playing, and all of a sudden the cows start mooing. And,
they do.
They're just all out in the field dancing around at Sam playing the bagpipes.
Yeah, you ought to hear my Siberian Huskies when I play. It's like a pack of wolves. Really? They crank up, and I mean, they take off with that.
Interesting, huh? Interesting. So, Chris, I want to ask you guys, one last question, and that is, what is your favorite species? Is it trout? It probably is, but what's your favorite species to fish for?
I don't discriminate.
Nice. Love it.
I like all kinds of fish, but there's just something special about standing in a mountain stream. Mm-hmm. I've done a lot of bass fishing in my time, and that's fun too. But when you're in that mountain stream, you got to know a lot, about entomology. Mm-hmm. You got to be able to read the water. You got to have the right placement of your fly. You got to have the right drift, the right depth. All of those components to me is what makes fishing for trout just special, right? I mean, it truly is a very challenging sport that it takes time to understand. I remember when I first got into it. You catch one or two fish, and you get fired up because you want to go back, and you want to get better at it. And so, to me, going out into a mountain stream and chasing trout, whether you catch anything or not, is just a special time.
Yeah, and also, it's so good for our souls, right?
It's refreshing, and I tell you, we have some good friends that we have a Bible study group with on Friday mornings, and it's all fly fishermen. And I tell you, we spend as much time standing in the stream talking about our faith and nature and everything that we've been provided on this wonderful earth as we do fishing. And that just solidifies the relationships and the camaraderie and so absolutely, it's an experience for sure.
Sam, how about you?
Well, I'm like Chris. I love fly fishing for trout in these mountain streams because that's kind of has launched so many wonderful things for me. But I tell you, when I think about the first fish that I caught on a fly rod, wasn't a trout. It was a largemouth bass.
Nice.
In our family lake, and that's where I actually learned to fly fish. And it was on a 9-foot fiberglass Garcia with an auto wind reel on it. And using a yellow popping bug with white rubber legs. And this bass was a 6 3/4 pound largemouth.
Oh my God!
And I mean, trout come up and sip stuff off the surface, or they nibble on it underneath. These guys. It's an explosion that comes on top of the water. And I got to tell you, of all the trout I've caught, that's been great trout fishing, I've never had a rush of adrenaline like I've had catching largemouth bass on a fly rod. So I guess I have to say largemouth bass.
Yeah, awesome. I'm a smallmouth bass geek, and I'm a trout guide. But we have smallmouth in our lower river, so I love fishing for them and guiding for them. But I love smallmouth bass for sure.
You'll love the boundary waters. Be sure to take your fly rod when you go up there, because those smallmouths up there are stupid. I mean, if it's on top of the water, they're gonna eat it, man.
Oh, I love it. That sounds so fun. All right, you guys. Well, where can people find you if they want to see your show, and give them your socials, your website, and all that?
Chris, you want to do that?
Yeah, he meant give them your social handles, not your social security.
Yeah, I got it. I did it last time. I know.
Yeah, no, you can find us at wildbearings.com.
Okay.
And that's one place. And, if you go there, we have some other publications. We've written an e-guide on how to get into fly fishing and not break your budget doing it, number one.
Okay.
And then, check us out at YouTube at Wild Bearings. Instagram is Wild Bearings CO, so hashtag Wild Bearings CO, because somebody already had Wild Bearings.
Okay.
And TikTok, I believe, is the same. I can't even remember.
Okay.
And then Facebook is Wild Bearings. So check us out. We're on all three, and we have a lot of different videos out on fly tying videos, you name it, that are on YouTube, and that's a great place to catch us.
Yeah, and Guy, Waypoint TV is after shows go through rerun. They post them to their YouTube channel for Waypoint TV.
Oh, okay.
And then our channel, if you just Google Wild Bearings Outdoors YouTube, it'll come up in every show that we've done, as well as every short we've done. as well as every webcast or podcast we've done is curated on our site. So you can go see just about everything we've done just by going to our YouTube channel.
And Sam, what about your book? Where can they find your book?
They can order the book on the all the retail sales are handled through our website,
Okay.
wildbearings.com, and they can order directly off of there.
Okay.
And for everyone up and down the Blue Ridge Parkway, it's in roughly 75 or 80 different outfitters up and down the parkway, with a bunch of new ones that are being added in Virginia right now. But it's just as easy to go to the website and order it, and typically go out the same day.
Sam Johnson, Chris Sloan, thank you so much. What a pleasure, you guys.
Ditto, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Same here, Guy. Thank you.
When you guys come out west, man, look me up. Let's go golden trout fishing.
Yeah, man.
We'll definitely do it.
All right,
Definitely
you guys.
will.
Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Scott.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's a Guy Jeans podcast.